Okay, it's recording. PK?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, it's recording, so we are good to go.
Perfect. Well, let's start off with getting to know each other a little better. If you wouldn't mind, could everybody tell me these 5 things about yourself? What's your name? Where are you from? What do you do outside of Isagenix? Where are you in your Isagenix business today? And then finally, one secret. So who wants to go first?
A secret. I guess I can go first. This is Dawn. I am from South Dakota, but I live in Tennessee now. I am a research analyst by day, and I am a director with Isagenix right now. And as far as my secret, I guess, well, it's no secret that I would love to quit my job and to do Isagenix full time. So I guess maybe I'll go with that.
Now, who do you research for?
I research for CNR Research, which is a marketing research firm in Chicago. I used to live in Chicago, and so I worked for them there. And when I moved to Tennessee, I took a year sabbatical and could not find anything in Tennessee. So then I went back to them. And so I've been working from home for them for about 9 years, I guess.
Now, are you in the country or are you in a city in Tennessee?
Oh, I'm in the, I'm not in like the sticks, but I'm in a small town.
Now, what do you call a small town?
I don't know. Callie, how big is Crossville?
I don't know. Not very.
Yeah, it's like the size of Aberdeen, South Dakota. Like 10,000 people, I think, and then.
Okay, that's a big place for me. So no, that's not a small town.
Well, I mean, I grew up in a town of 800 people.
Yeah.
But then I moved here from Chicago, so it's still definitely a town, not a city.
Well, I live in a village of 400, so and I live outside that village because that's too grown for me. So I appreciate the rural living.
And you're in Canada?
I normally am, but I winter here in El Paso, Texas. So today's beautiful and sunny and warm and bright and wonderful.
Well, good.
Well, welcome to the call.
Thanks. Thank you so much for doing this for us.
And you did a great job with giving your 5. You set a great example for your team.
All right, good. Okay, who's next?
Who wants to go next?
I can go next. I'm Jen Hamilton, and I am also from South Dakota. I live in Huron, South Dakota, but grew up actually in Burke, South Dakota. I'm actually a registered nurse, but right at the moment, it's a long drawn out story, but right at the moment I paint for my day job, and then just do just as needed for nursing. I am consultant with Isagenix, and my little secret is Dawn and I went to high school together and grew up in the same town. So.
Oh, isn't that cool? Now, when you say paint, do you mean surfaces or portraits?
No, surfaces. Yep. Interior of houses and things like that. Yep.
I never know when someone says paint, whether it's, Van Gogh or something I would do.
Nope, I'm not a Van Gogh for sure about that.
Well, that's good because then you have both your ears.
Yep.
Well, welcome to the call.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess I'll go. This is Jamie Routh, and I'm also from South Dakota. I grew up in Hartford, which is by Sioux Falls, but I now live in Spearfish in the Black Hills. And I am a daycare provider right now in my home, but I am really hoping to do Isagenix full-time by the summer and close my daycare. And as for secret, gosh, I don't know. Unfortunately, I like reality TV. There's, I guess, my secret. I don't know. Anyway, I guess that's about it.
Now, you live in some of the most beautiful motorcycle country in the whole world.
Yes, we're very lucky. It's gorgeous out here compared to where I grew up. I love home,
It-
but it's pretty.
It's beautiful there, and I'm a motorcycle nut, so yeah,
Awesome.
I've got to come up your way.
Yep, we're only 20 minutes from Sturgis, so.
I did 14,000 miles in August and September this year.
Oh, wow. You were here for the 75th?
No, I didn't go up for that. No, I traveled all of North America. No, but I did the all of the countries in the world east to west is 12,000 miles, and I did 14,000 miles.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I had a great time.
Awesome. Great.
Well, welcome to the call. And my wife and I used to run a daycare as well in Florida.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's great. I'm burned out.
I understand. Well, welcome to the call.
Okay, I'm Callie Shaver, and I live in Crossville, Tennessee. I was born in Arkansas, but have been here since I was 2, so practically from here. And then I taught 8 years ago, and then I became a stay-at-home mom. And I think, am I an associate, Dawn? No, I'm not. I don't remember which one I am.
You're a consultant.
I'm a consultant. So, and I just started December 18th was the first day that I started the program. So I'm still not able to do all of it because I have a little boy that's still nursing. But
Oh, is this your first?
he's my second. I have a 5-year-old,
Second.
6-year-old, almost 6-year-old.
And what gender is your 6-year-old?
She's a little girl. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you had a girl first. Well, this is a different experience, isn't it?
Yes, she is our princess, and he is a little handful.
Yes, and they all are. They all are. People who think that boys and girls are similar haven't had boys and girls.
Yes, and my secret is I think we'll stop with 2. How about that?
We stopped with 2 as well. We did too.
So yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So that's it. That's on the call. Sarah's not here. Like I said, she's seeing a patient. So, but Sarah is from Bemidji, Minnesota, and she is an optometrist for Sanford, I think. She is a consultant with Isagenix. And I don't know her secret because then it wouldn't be a secret. But Bemidji is where Babe and the Big Blue Ox are from.
Oh, there you go. That's famous.
Yeah. We'll do that for now.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, my name's PK, and as I said, we usually live on a little horse farm in southern Ontario, right on the border with New York State. And we have 6 horses and 6 donkeys and 4 dogs and 3 cats. So if you park in the driveway, I want to charge you admission because I live in a zoo. I live there with my lovely wife, Sandy. We have been together now 33 years and been married for 30, and just celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary. So we've been together since we're teenagers, actually. We met in college. Yeah. And we live there with our adult son, Corbin, and he runs our farm and actually owns this company. He's the president of the Co-Creation Group. And our daughter runs the farm across from us, and she breeds, births, trains, and shows Gypsy Vanner horses, which is, well, if Fabio married a horse, that's what it would look like. They just had hair everywhere. And there's only a handful of breeders in all of North America, and in my humble but accurate opinion, she's one of the better ones. So, yeah. Sandy and I started a mission in Africa 10 years ago called Impact Malawi, and today we have 500 preschoolers that go to our 5 preschools, and today they are all being fed by Isagenix business builders. They're in the middle of a drought, and in their culture, you don't feed the younger ones during a drought. You let them die, and you have more babies afterwards, which meant all of our preschoolers would die. And so we put it up on Facebook that was our situation we were faced with. And in 16 hours, we raised all the money we needed to raise to feed them for an entire year. So they're all eating thanks to Isagenix business builders. So it's kind of cool. In fact, I'm headed back there in May. Yeah. Going to go back with my son and do some filming. So yeah, it's kind of cool what you can do with good people like Isagenix people. So it's kind of fun. We mentor about 30% of the Isagenix millionaires in the world and their teams. So if you go to a large event, one of my mentees is training you. They're not going to say PK says, because that would be weird. But you will hear what I teach you in other places. They're not supposed to say it's from me, because if I give you a great idea and it works, you know, tuck it under your arm and run like you stole it, because I gave it to you. I've already made up a new one since then. Don't worry about it. I don't run other things to teach people. Over the next few weeks, we're going to learn how to talk differently to people about what we do and what our products are like, and where we are. And because of that, we're going to be able to help people make a better investment in their health, and also choose to get their products highly discounted or completely free more often than not, which of course allows you to make more consultants. And that's kind of our goal. Let's make more consultants. So let's start off with why you guys are all obviously in the Mensa Club for Geniuses, because you chose to partner with an amazing company like Isagenix. Tell me one thing that makes you feel that Isagenix is so amazing.
Well, other than the nutrition and the products themselves, the culture is unbelievable. I just came back from NYKO. I was at a START meeting last week, and I mean, there's nothing like it. I've been in other direct sales, and it's unbelievable. The training is amazing. The products are unbelievable. The compensation plan is mind-blowing. So, I mean, there's so many things that make Isagenix stand apart from everything else.
So isn't it nice that the products actually work?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, wouldn't it really stink if you were sharing a product that you knew just didn't work all that well?
It'd be a little hard.
Be a little hard on the conscience, wouldn't it? Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'll go.
Now you mentioned the. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. If you want to go ahead and finish first.
No, you go ahead. No, go ahead, dear. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, one of the things that I always think about with the products, I mean, it's all amazing. I absolutely love everything about it. But one of the biggest things that I think is crazy to me is that stands out from other like weight loss programs is the way how you see when the transformations, especially with people who are have a lot to lose, you don't see the saggy skin and all that like you see with, like, if you were to watch The Biggest Loser and you see somebody that loses all this weight and then they have the problem of what to do with all their skin. You don't ever see Isagenix. And so it just proves to me that it's doing it the right way. I mean, it's all working together and getting people back to a healthier state without all that excess skin. And then you don't have to worry about, having surgery after of it. And so that to me has always been something major that stood out to me that I think is pretty crazy in a good way.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have a mentee right now who just last week is within half a pound of being under 300 pounds. Wow. She started at 375 and she's 5'4".
Yeah.
And she's lost 75 pounds, but just last week, she took off 7 pounds and 3 inches off her waist in 7 days. And she's over the moon. She's battled morbid obesity her entire adult life. And she is committed by Celebration to walk across the stage as one of the 100-pound weight loss winners. And just exciting stuff. And at the same time, she's passionately building her business. Oftentimes when folks are committed to the 100-pound club, they don't focus on the business. And she is just the opposite. In fact, her next financial goal that she's working on right now, and it's within arm's length, is 10 times as much as she was making just 4 weeks ago.
Wow.
She's pulling the trigger. She's pulling the trigger. So we're real proud of her. Real proud of her. Someone mentioned the compensation plan. Isagenix makes a pretty crazy claim. They claim that they're going to make more of something than any other company in the industry. Does anyone remember what the more of was?
Millionaires.
More 6- and 7-figure income earners. Yeah, absolutely. Now that's a strange thing to say, In fact, it's something you can only say when you're a privately owned company. Because frankly, if you were a publicly traded company, your shareholders wouldn't want you to make more millionaires, would they? They'd want you to send the money to them. Did you all know that we are permanently a privately owned company, that we will never be traded on the stock exchange? Did you all know that?
No.
There's a list of companies, and they're very special companies, and it's the list of the top 5,000 fastest growing privately owned companies in America. And Isagenix was 4 years old when they made that list. Now, this is not network marketing companies. This is all types of companies. Bob's Cement Trucks, if it's privately owned, could get on the list. And we made the list 10 years ago when we were 4 years old, and we've never left the list. And many years we've led the list. We've been in the top percentage of those fastest growing privately owned companies in all of America. Isn't that exciting to be partnering with a company like that?
Right. So that's different from like Lander's list.
Yes, this is a different list. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, this is done either by Forbes or Fortune magazine. And it's a published list. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Now notice that I keep saying the same verb that you don't hear often from Isagenix, though you should, and that's the verb partner. Why do I keep saying that we partner with Isagenix?
Because Jim and Kathy Coover are working with us side by side.
Exactly. Are any of us employees of Jim and Kathy?
Oh.
No.
No. We're our own bosses, aren't we?
Yes.
So we own our own businesses, don't we?
Yes.
Do you know at what part of your Isagenix journey do you actually own a business, whether you know it or not?
The beginning?
The very beginning, yes. When you decide to become an associate and they establish your username and password, remember way back then?
Yep.
Well, at that moment, you had a live online store where your name was in the address bar right beside Isagenix at that very moment. Now, you didn't know you had an online store. You didn't know it was live to 1 billion people around the world, but you did. You did, even if you never shared it with another living soul. You still owned an online store. You become a business owner the moment you decide to become an associate with Isagenix. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah.
Now, that claim that they're going to make more 6- and 7-figure income earners than anybody else, that's a pretty ballsy claim. I've got some numbers to share with you, and I'm going to give them to you first, and then I'll explain to you what they mean. But when we're done in about 5 minutes, you're going to know, wow, they're already doing it. Yes, they're already doing it. Isagenix has already got the plan in place to make more 6- and 7-figure income earners than any company in the industry. So if you've got pen and paper, just jot down these numbers. There's 5 lines altogether. The first line is 171, then an arrow to the right, and the number 500. 171, an arrow, and then 500. Below that is the number 725, then an arrow to the right, and the number 25. 725 and 25. Below that is 2 percentages. The first percentage is 0.5%, then an arrow to the right, and 5%. 0.5% and 5%. On the fourth line, there's no arrow. It's just a single number. And the number is 1120. 1120. One last line, then the math class is over, and it is 358, 358, then an arrow to the right, and the number 29. So let's go back to the top. At the very top, we gave you the number 171. That is, according to Eric Worre, how much network marketing and direct sales did in 2014 in gross revenue. Now, is 171 billion a lot of money? 171 billion. Yeah. In fact, it's so much money, none of us actually know how much money that is. Just to put it in perspective, if you take the NFL and the NBA and Major League Baseball and the NHL and put them all together, you're not there yet. So you've now got to add the movie industry and the music industry, and you're close. That's how much 171 billion is. A lot. It's a lot. Now, I'd like you to remember that number the next time someone gives you the poopy face and says, oh, is this network marketing? You ever had anyone give you the poopy face?
Yeah.
Like they ask the question like you stink right there. Like, really? Is this network marketing? Now, they make the face because most people have no idea that the industry is that large. Why don't most people know the industry is that large?
There's no advertisement.
We don't pay for advertising. Now, why don't we pay for advertising?
We are the advertisement.
We are the advertising. So if we paid for advertising, it would be like firing ourselves. That would be stupid, right?
Right.
We don't want to pay for advertising. In fact, a proof that a network marketing company is on hard times is when they do pay for advertising. One company here in Texas that does a lot of it is Advocare. Advocare is a major sponsor for all of the large university teams here in Texas. And if you watch a Texas college football game, you see an Advocare commercial every single time outbreak, constantly. What do you think that does to their profit share if they spend that much money on advertising?
It goes down.
It goes down, yeah. How much money their associates can make drops dramatically. Now, in all of network marketing and direct sales, in 2014, 500 people made at least $1 million that year. Now, is $1 million a year a lot of money?
Yes.
It's even crazier if you break it down to weekly. It's roughly $20,000 a week, every week.
Wow.
That's a lot of money, isn't it?
Yeah.
Our top income earners, the Cepedas, are making about $55,000 a week right now.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, why is it exciting that the Cepedas, who are not one of the founding leaders in the team, in the Isagenix, are top income earners? Why does that matter so much?
Because that means you can do it. They're just like,
Exactly. They're just like you, yeah. In fact, they do not have a laundry list of other network marketing companies that they were successful in before the Isagenix. That is not their story. In fact, now we are seeing a lot of people who are becoming way more successful quicker than anyone before who don't know anything about network marketing. Never heard of it before. Isn't that good news?
it's great news.
It used to feel like if you didn't come from another company, you weren't really going to make it, but that is not the truth. The fastest growing teams out there are newbies. They don't have a clue. Yay for not having a clue.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's all of network marketing and direct sales. The number below there is us and Isagenix. We only brought in 725 million of that 171 billion, a little tiny fraction. Yet, somehow, we made 25 seven-figure income earners in 2014. So 25 people in Isagenix made $1 million that year. Now, if you're not good at math, that idea kind of gets lost on you. So that's why we include the next number. And that's the percentages. With less than 0.5% of the money, somehow Isagenix created 5% of the seven-figure income earners in the world. With less than 0.5% of the money, somehow they made 5% of the seven-figure income earners in the world. That being true, what does that say Isagenix must be?
Efficient at making millionaires.
Efficient. That's the key word, efficient. Does anybody on the call know what kind of mileage your vehicle gets?
No.
Come on, ladies, don't be a stereotype.
I get 17 miles to the gallon.
You get 17 miles a gallon. Wow, that's better than me. I get anywhere from 12 to 15. What kind of vehicle are you getting 17 miles a gallon in?
It's a Mercedes R350, I think.
Mine's an F-150 pickup truck 4x4 that's jacked up to about 7 feet in the air. Very aerodynamic for a boat. Yeah. But I don't care. I paid cash for it 2 years ago. I can get all the mileage I want. I could care less. Now imagine if I had the same car as yours, a Mercedes R something, but my Mercedes got 187 miles to the gallon.
I would be a little jealous.
What might you want to do?
Trade cars.
Trade cars. Yeah. Yeah. That's actually happening, folks. People are joining Isagenix just for the numbers. They're doing the math and going, wow, they're really generous with you. Yeah, they sure are. Oh, maybe I should partner with a company that's as generous as yours. Maybe you should. That 1,120%, that's how much more generous Isagenix is than the rest of the industry. 1,120% more generous than the rest of the industry. Just put it in dollars and cents. Imagine you had a job selling shoes on the left-hand side of the street, and they're paying you $10 an hour. Same store opens on the right-hand side of the street, but they're paying $110 an hour. What might you do?
Switch.
Yeah, tie your sneakers and run across the street. Yeah. Make like a chicken across the road. Now, the bottom line here, you got to hear it a couple times to realize how amazing it is. The bottom two numbers mean this. With that efficiency, the rest of network marketing needs $358 million in order to make one seven-figure income earner. But Isagenix, because of its efficiency, makes another seven-figure income earner for every $29 million it makes. Rest of the industry requires $358 million per seven-figure income earner. But Isagenix makes a new seven-figure income earner for every $29 million in gross revenue. What's that mean for you and I?
There's a good chance for us.
There's a great chance for us. Why? Because the math is in your favor. That's why when someone says, you know, the company I work with, you know, they gross more than Isagenix does. My answer is, I don't care because my last name's not Coover. The gross doesn't mean anything. My last name is Smith. The only thing that matters is, what's the math that puts $1 in my pocket? Is your math better than our math? Nope. Then nice knowing you. Why? Not here for awards. I'm here for the math. In fact, one of my mentees, she's the top salesperson in her company. And she found out that she was actually selling half of the products that went out the door. $30 million she sold last year. But because they've got this neat little rule, and that is your commission is based upon the profitability of the product, not the product. She only made $100,000 commission on $30 million worth of sales. That's called a ripoff. Isagenix has the math to help you. Now, this is important because if you put in a lot of effort and build a great business, but the company you're partnering with isn't determined to share it with you, a lot of your labor can be in vain. For instance, we've always heard something. Isagenix has always promised us that what percentage of the profits would come back to the associates. Does anyone know that number?
Mm-mm.
No.
They've always promised 50% of the profits coming back to the associates. Now, what you have to know is that's not actually true. It's not true because that's not with all of our promotions. That's just with our basic pay. The last I heard from someone who does the books, I said, what's the real number? And he says, well, about 38% of the gross, not 50% of the net. Now, last year, we did just under 900 million in sales. If last year they paid roughly 40% of the gross back to us, that'd be $360 million. Do you think they've got enough money to share with you, maybe?
Maybe.
Maybe, a little bit. Now, the reason for this is something that you know, but you didn't know you know. Sorry, bad grammar. 12 years ago, when we were 2 years old, we only had 3 products: Shakes, Ionics, and Cleanse. Does anyone want to guess what our top 3 selling products were that year?
Shakes, Ionics, and Cleanse.
Ooh, aren't you smart? Yes, absolutely. Shakes, Ionics, and Cleanse. Little harder question, though. We turn 14 next month. Anyone want to guess what our top 3 selling products will be next year?
The same.
The same. Why is that a benefit to us if our top 3 selling products are still our top 3 selling products? How's that a benefit?
Because then we're not always changing what we're known for.
Consistency.
Yeah. Consistency, yeah. And if you don't need to make new products, you've already spent all the money developing them, doesn't that increase your profit line?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you know there's only a handful of companies in the history of companies that the same products year 2 are the same products year 14? It's that rare. Like, it's big names that you know, like Coca-Cola and aspirin. It's that rare. Doesn't happen. Now, the reason it doesn't happen is your competitor duplicates your formula, undercuts your price, and steals your market share. Now, I even saw Gatorade is now doing a protein drink and a protein bar because, the word's out, their main product is crap. Why? Well, they're kind of duplicate what we do already, right? Our new AMP products, they're going to get duplicated. But the great news is no one ever touches our prices. We've got one gal, Delray Mester. Delray used to make her own shakes. The only problem was price. Ours are $3 a shake. Want to guess what hers were?
6.
10.
Hell.
A canister of shakes was $150. And of course, when she found Isogenics, she says, well, can't beat them. Think I'll join them. Done. Now, what we want to learn to do is, how do we engage people in such a way that they continue asking questions of us so that it's more of a give and take? For instance, none of you freaked out when I said you had to share a secret. Now, the reason I do that is I want you to learn how to talk to people when you're not just using a script, when you're actually, answering questions that they're asking, not just saying what you think you should ask. Now, some of us have been guilty of the dreaded verbal vomit. Have any of you guys ever done the dreaded verbal vomit?
Oh, yes.
Have you ever caught yourself mid-vomit and thought, I should really stop talking?
Yep.
Yep.
Like, I should stop, In fact, sometimes people have that little scared look in their eye, like, how do I get her to stop? All I asked was, how are you today? And suddenly I'm hearing about her second cleanse day. I don't even know what a cleanse day is. But I don't want to ask because then she won't stop talking. Ever found yourself guilty of that?
Yes.
Yep.
Everyone who's ever been excited about their product experience has done that. Don't feel bad. Now, we are going to learn how to not do it. And we're going to do it by doing something that we call having a fly fishing conversation. A fly fishing conversation. Now, when we're fly fishing, we don't jump in the river and try to stab the salmon with the rod and reel. Instead, we just put something small that is of interest to the fish in front of the fish and have the fish move towards us. Now, that's what we were going to learn how to do. Learn how to put just little things out there so they ask further questions. For instance, we've referred to it already. What do you do? Now, what did I suggest when I'm talking about, you're talking about your relationship with Isagenix? Do you work for Isagenix?
No.
Nope. You, in fact, own a business, don't you?
Right.
Now, this is going to be scary for some of you. Don't worry. No one's going to poke you in the eye with a fork. It'll be fine, okay? I want you to learn to say, well, you know about my day job, but what I'm really excited is my family business that I just started. Now, why do we call it a family business specifically? Why is this business really related to your entire family and not just you?
Residual income.
It creates residual income, absolutely. What about bequestability? In Isagenix, we're allowed to leave our Isagenix position to our children in our will. Did you all know that?
No.
Yeah, it's a thing. And as long as you train your children to be able to manage your position, that position does not die with you. It continues on to the next generation. Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
We're one of the first companies in the world to ever do it. It's really cool. It's not a job, it's a business. Now, all I want you to say is, I'm really excited about the business our family's just started. Okay? If they're interested, and 70% of Americans are interested because they actually dream of having their own business. If they're interested and you say you have a business, what are they going to ask you?
What kind of business?
Yeah. Going to be a little give and take there, right? Now, we created a term 3 years ago. Our company did. And we've spent 3 years posting and videos and conferences and hashtagging a phrase called the evolved economy. The evolved economy. In fact, I'd encourage you this week to watch the evolved economy video. The best one is the Australian version. So if you go to YouTube, type in the evolved economy -Australia. It's a nice little 5-minute video that explains why every family should have an evolved economy business. And it's the whole idea of the internet and how the internet allows you to grow beyond the borders where you live. I mean, for instance, our little company that created the evolved economy idea, I live on a dirt road that has twice as many horses as humans on it. I live in a 150-year-old farmhouse. But we've created a business concept so that we mentor on 4 continents and 9 time zones around the world. All from either our little farm in Canada or my brother-in-law's beautiful house with a beautiful backyard pool and a view of the Franklin Mountains in El Paso, Texas. Because that's the other thing about the evolved economy. If it's not nice where you are right now, you can go somewhere else until it gets nice there. Those of you who live in South Dakota, this might be not a bad idea. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Sound like maybe a plan? It was -40 with the wind chill on the farm today.
Oh.
Yeah. And our horses don't go inside. Our horses live outside year-round. They have wind shelters, but they do not go in barns. So the horses are outside eating hay like the hay burners that they are right now. and sleeping quietly as if it's not even happening. And my son, he's there to feed them. And I'm not there because, well, I don't have to be there. Ha-ha. Why? I own an evolved economy business. Now, the reason we created the concept has to do with those numbers we just shared with you. If you just say generically, I own a network marketing company. Someone Googles network marketing if they've never heard of it before, and they get a whole bunch of other companies in the hit. If you Google the evolved economy, every hit goes back to Isagenix for pages. Why? If people are interested and they want to hear more and they don't know everything you're talking about, they are going to Google you. That's why we created the business concept. Also, we did it so that people would ask questions and we could learn to creatively answer questions in such a way that they're interested in hearing more. And that is that fly fishing type conversation. So if someone were to say, you know, what kind of business is it? And you say, well, it's an evolved economy business. What are they probably going to ask?
What's
What the heck is evolved economy?
Exactly. But we're trying to do that, guys. We're trying to have a little give and take so that we're not giving speeches. We're just answering simple questions. Now, this is different from what you're used to, okay? We're used to giving speeches. We want to stop just giving speeches and start directly answering questions that people are asking. Can you guys see how that would be an important thing to learn instead of the speeches?
Yeah.
And once you do it, you'll find out that in every area of your life, you become a better communicator because you're always including the other person in the journey. So when someone asks, what's the evolved economy, we answer using the fly fishing method. So the first principle of fly fishing, there's 3 of them. The first principle of fly fishing is get the asker to help answer their question. Get the asker to help answer their question. Now the reason is, then they're involved in the process and they're actually listening. So if you were to ask me what's the evolved economy, my response would be, you probably already know. Let me just ask you a couple of questions. Number 1, have you ever ordered anything from Amazon? Have you ever ordered anything from Amazon? Now, have any of you folks ever ordered anything from Amazon before?
every day?
Any of you Prime members, and maybe we need to have a intervention afterwards?
Yep.
I have a little problem, just a little bit.
Little bit.
A little bit. Yeah. Now, we would always ask a follow-up question, which is tied to the second principle. Get them to talk about themselves. Get them to answer their own questions, number 1. Number 2, get them to talk about themselves. And I always say, could you share maybe a product that you had delivered to your door recently that can be mentioned in mixed company? Because remember, there's a guy in the line, so just don't do all girl talk here.
Dog food.
Dog food, really, from Amazon?
Yes.
Oh, see, we can't get dog food from Amazon in Canada, but you can there. Do you know what a popular one is in Hawaii?
What?
Toilet paper. Because toilet paper costs a lot in Hawaii, a real lot. And you get an Amazon Prime account, you just get them to drop it off at the house. Now, I always say, what can you eat in mixed company? Because sometimes ladies forget that I'm a guy and they say something and I don't know what it is, then they explain what it is. Then I'm embarrassed that I just heard that conversation. I'm glad we stuck with the dog food. Yeah. Yeah, this gal said this like I'd know what it was, and then dummy me, I said, what's that? And then she told me, I said, you didn't need to say that. You didn't need to say that. You could have just lied. You could have just lied and said it was something else, right? Yeah. The second question we asked them is, have you ever downloaded a song from iTunes or from the Play Store? Have you guys ever downloaded a song into your phone before?
Yep.
Yeah. Now, everybody's got an embarrassing song in their phone. A song that they only play when they're alone in the car. Really embarrassing. Who's got an embarrassing song on their phone in the car? Nobody's got an embarrassing song?
I don't think so.
Really? Nobody's got a children's song on their phone that they play when there's no child in the car?
No, not when there's no child in the car. Heck no.
Oh.
I'm not going to lie. When Let It Go came out, I first liked it. Now I don't want to hear it anymore.
You've heard it a couple times, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be embarrassing. Yeah. We have a very conservative, well, my age kind of person. admitted that their favorite new song is something from Flo Rida. And I went, really? And I looked it up immediately on YouTube and played it on the call, and she was really embarrassed that that was on her phone because I played it live. Yeah. We did have one gal who says, I don't have an embarrassing song, but I have a dangerous one. I said, what on earth is a dangerous song? And she said, oh, it's the hymn, How Great Thou Art.
Oh.
I said, okay, Patty Ann, how is How Great Thou Art dangerous? Well, you can't play it while you're driving. I said, okay, Patty Ann, why can't you play How Great Thou Art while you're driving? Well, because you always close your eyes on the chorus. And she's right. That is a dangerous, dangerous song to have on your phone, especially if you live in the Black Hills. That would be a very dangerous, dangerous.
True.
You show up and St. Peter says, how did you get here again? I'm not sure you're allowed in. Like, there might be some fine print on that one, Patty Ann. Now, the reason we ask that question is the third principle of fly fishing. Number one, get the asker to answer their own question. Number two, get them to talk about themselves. And number three, get them to chuckle. Why? Well, for one, it warms up the call. For two, though, it creates a memory dart in their head. They remember this conversation. Laughter has that effect on us. Now, if I told you that my company was like Amazon or like iTunes, what conclusion would you just come to right there? What kind of company do you know I have then?
An online company?
Yeah, I've got a company that's got an online presence. Perfect. And we did that. We showed them that's what we do by only talking about them, not us. That's a key to fly fishing. Learning to talk about the other person, not yourself the whole time. Why? Because they're more interested in that conversation than talking about you.
Yeah, it's not about you. It's about them.
It's not about you. Now, one of my mentees, Mary, she had just learned this principle, went out to dinner with a complete stranger. Over the salad, ended up doing the whole evolved economy, Amazon, iTunes thing, the whole deal. And they get to this point, and this woman looks at her and says, okay, Mary, I get it. You've got an internet business. What's your product? Now, this is where we don't say Isagenix. And it's not for the reason you think. It's not because I'm afraid they're going to look it up and buy it off Amazon, okay? We're trying to engage a conversation about food. And the word Isagenix doesn't sound like a food, does it?
No.
It's the X at the end. Other than trail mix, we don't eat things that end with X. In fact, things that end with X, we put in our computer, right? I eat Isagenix. Oh, really? You're a cyborg? It's not. It doesn't make them think of food. We want them to think of food and nutrition. So what do we say? We use the subject line. What's your product? Oh, it's nutritional superfoods. Now, people are hearing more and more about these things through advertisements of other companies. This woman had heard of it, and she geeks out quite a bit at Mary and says, I've read about these. What do yours do? Now, let's be frank here. If there was ever a temptation to begin verbal vomiting, that is the ultimate question. What does your product do? Right?
Right.
Some of you would be looking for the turbo button in your rib cage just so you could do it more forcefully. I got to say more. I got to say more. I got to say more. Now, Mary, no, she is too cool for school. Mary's response is one that I want you to adopt. Her response is, I don't know. What would you like them to do? Now, why is asking the woman what would she like nutritional superfoods to do the perfect answer?
Because then you can find out what her goals are, what she's looking for, and then talk specifically about those products.
Exactly. You see, when you fly fish people, you might never share your story. Why? If it doesn't match what their unmet need is, you don't want to share your story. You want to share someone else's story.
Right.
Because the only story that matters to them is the one they can apply to their lives. Can you see that?
Yep.
And I know it's different than we're kind of used to just, regurgitate your story, regurgitate your story, regurgitate your story. But the fact is, we have to get the subject matter onto them as quickly and positively as we can. In fact, a question I'd like you to write down. Write down this question for me, okay? Imagine nutrition could change anything about your health. Imagine nutrition could change anything about your health. What would you choose to change first? What would you choose to change first? And that's where we want to try to get to in all of our conversations as we connect with people. If you were to ask that of various of your friends, what might the answer be that they would give you? If they could pick one or two things, what might they tell you is their one or two priorities?
Energy.
Lose weight.
Energy, yeah. Energy, is the number one answer, not weight loss.
Really?
Yeah. Because one of the things that gets drained from your life from being overweight is a lack of energy. So they're more in tune with what is the byproduct of my physical condition than just my physical condition. Energy is number one every time it's asked. Weight loss might be another one. What else might someone say?
Better sleep.
Better sleep, yeah.
Financial freedom.
Yeah, the financial stresses of things, absolutely. Maybe if they're into sports, that might be athletic performance, right? Might be healthy aging, might be better skin, could be a lot of things. We want to make sure, though, our priority is answering their need. For instance, at this dinner meeting, when the woman gets asked the question, what would you like it to do? She kind of freaks out on Mary a little bit. And she says, you mean you don't even know what your product does?
Yeah.
And Mary's response is very cool and calm. She says, of course I know. But we have 70 different products that address 30 different challenges that families face every single day. I'm not going to list off 100 things before the entree comes. So you just tell me your top two, and I'll tell you if we're any good at it. Now, wouldn't that be a simpler way to have a conversation with someone?
Yep.
Now, we listed off some of those 30, right? There really are 30 different things when you think of it. Healthy snacking for kids, mineral support, vitamin support, healthy aging, better skin, better sleep, joint pain. There's way more than we normally think of. But it's important to be aware of them so that you can honestly ask someone, you tell me what the priority is. So the woman says, well, I'd like to lose some weight, and we're in our 50s. We'd like some more energy at the end of the day. And this is Mary's complete product description. This is all she says. She only says, congratulations, you picked our top two. And then she went back to eating her salad. And the woman bought 2 President's Packs, one for her and one for her husband before the entree came. She didn't mention shakes. She didn't mention cleanse or ionics or anything. She just said, you picked our top 2. That's where I want you to head. Learning to say less, but only talk about what interests them, not what interests you. That make sense?
Yeah, perfect sense.
So what you're going to find over the next few weeks is that we don't talk as much as you think. We ask more questions and listen more than you think. But because of that, people are more engaged in the conversation we're having with them. That make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yep.
We're gonna do the same thing when we talk about the product line. We're gonna learn how to describe our entire product line in 2 minutes. And after 2 minutes, your average person is gonna want to join with either a President's Pack or a Pacesetter Pack. 2 minutes. No hour-long spiel. Why? You don't need to. In fact, if you say too much, they decide to invest in a smaller pack. We're going to learn to say less. So this week, what I want you to work on is how to have that fly fishing conversation where you say less but ask more questions so that what you say is related to what they're questioning about. Can you try that this week?
Yes.
I'd like you to go to YouTube and type in PK Smith into YouTube. You'll see my channel. Subscribe to my channel so that you get updates whenever we get new videos up. But on there, you'll see a lot of the stuff we're going to learn over the next 5 weeks. Start watching some of them so that you're aware of some of the stuff we'll be teaching in the ongoing, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Sound like a plan?
Perfect.
Like a plan.
Excellent. Try not to hate me while it's cold up there, okay? I don't hate you because it's cold up there. You shouldn't hate me because it's warm down here. I'm just saying. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you, PK.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
See ya.
Bye.